Hello there and welcome to the workshop. Today's video is a second video for Carveco fourth axes. One of the Carveco subscribers had a bit of a problem. I made a video a week ago, but there's still a few more questions that need answering. So I actually don't have a fourth axis set up. I don't have a fourth axis. I've got parts of the fourth axis, which is what you can see up the far end there, but I haven't actually made it yet. That'll be coming in January or February next year. Okay, so let's make a start. So in this particular application, I am going to slave, or should we say I'm going to replicate, slaving the x-axis to the fourth axis, or the A-axis. So the first thing you need to do is to home your machine, and then take the gantry, and you need a fairly sharp tool for this, over, and we will zero out the X. Okay, so if you take note of the screen here, this is still his Mark III. It's just a different screen that I've uploaded, and it just uses all the tools that I require without being too cluttered. So bottom left corner, you'll see X, Y and Z machine home, all green. So that indicates that it's homed, but the A axis is in red, and that is not in use. Okay, so let's take the head down and over to the fourth axis to set it up. Okay, so what I'm going to do, there's a mark just here. I'll fetch you in a bit closer. Okay, so I just fetched it down fairly close. There's a mark just here indicating the actual center of the A-axis. Down a little bit further, maybe. And forward. That's pretty good there, actually. So I'm going to zero that. So I'll bring you back up to the screen to show you. Okay, so we're going to zero the X in that position there. And now we're going to bring the Y up and the Z to a position on the material. Okay, so now we've established the X0, which in fact is now the A-axis 0, because this has been disconnected, the X-axis has been disconnected, and that axis driver has been connected into the A-axis. In other words, we have slaved the A-axis to the X. Now that might seem a little confusing, but the CNC machine doesn't know if something's circular or whether it's flat. To this machine, it's all flat. Just because we in Carveco have wrapped it, and it gives us a cosmetic view of being circular. To the machine, it doesn't matter. It's just G-code. And in this sort of circumstance with a CNC router, the A-axis does not necessarily operate in degrees, okay? Because Carveco just essentially just wraps the G-code into something that looks like a cylinder to us. But the G-code itself hasn't changed. And it doesn't need to. Now, when you are dealing with precision machining of metal parts on a Hass or something like that, it is at that point you use degrees. Okay? CNC router, working on wood, what have you, doesn't matter. Okay, so we've established that this is now slaved to the x-axis, even though it'll rotate fairly easy because there's not even a motor on it. But this is the best I could do at the time. But this sort of setup, now I do understand, I think that the guy that has a few problems is wants to engrave a design on something like a cane, something like that. You know, it could be a curtain rail for all I know. But the diameter of the piece of material is an inch. So this is the closest I could get to a diameter of an inch as a broom handle. Okay, so this will represent our work. So it's an inch diameter, and he wants to process or engrave approximately 6 inches of it. So we're going to set it up to do that now. So I'm just going to fetch the tool forward now. Better lift it up a bit. And we'll take it back down. I'm just going to slow that up a bit actually. So just taking the jog speed down to 5%. Okay. One of the questions was in relation to where you zero the tool for the work. This is locked in one position. It is locked in the center of this piece of material. So whether you, let's just get a bit of paper, whether you, when you start the program and choose a datum point, whether you have it in the top left hand corner, bottom left hand corner, bottom right, or top right, or center, you can only choose a position on the piece of work right in the center of it, because this is locked in one position. So what will happen, just say for example you zeroed the tool at this point. If you chose the top right hand corner as your datum point, when you start the program, the A-axis will rotate half a turn to the back side, drop down and start machining there. Or it may come, the tool might come all the way down to the bottom here, just say it's 6 inches, the relief is 6 inches, will come all the way down to here and rotate over half a turn, come down, start the cut, and then rotate over and then back and then over. So it doesn't matter whether you choose the top, the bottom, or the middle for your datum point in Carveco. It can only be one of 3 spots on this material: the top, the middle, or the bottom. And the A-axes will rotate to the start. So I hope I've sort of explained that a little bit better this time. So if you choose either left or right top for your datum in Carveco, you have to set it up here. If you choose the middle, which is my preference, you choose this middle point here, and then if you choose the bottom left or right, you just choose the bottom mark. Because bearing in mind, this doesn't move in any way. When you start the program, this will rotate one way or the other to start the cut, or indeed come all the way down to the bottom here, rotate back, bring the tool in, and then it'll start rotating to do the cut. Now, to zero, the Y and the X is the same as any other piece of material. It doesn't matter that it's a axis operation, so we'll just do it quickly now. I just use a bit of paper. Okay, just grabbed it there. So we'll go up to Mark 3 and zero it. Okay, so we're going to zero the Y and the Z. And of course that's taken as though in Carveco we made the datum point on either the top right or the top left. That's why we zeroed it here in the Y position. If we had zeroed the center, if we had a datum point in the center when we did the program in Carveco, well, we'd fetch it down to this point here. A bit quicker than that. Not so quick. And we would zero the Y in that point, and so on and so forth. If you use the bottom left or right hand corner to make your datum point in Carveco, you would use the bottom of the where the relief is going to be down here. Right, so like I say, unfortunately I don't have a 4th axis in operation at the moment, but next January or February I will be building this unit. I have got some parts, like the tailstock here, and I've got most of the parts here to make one. Just got to get around to doing the job, and I will again show you something like this. But this sort of assembly for doing something that's very, very long and thin-ish, without any, it's not going to require any great load on it to machine that up there, about a 1/16 of an inch or so. This is quite sufficient, because the pressure of machining is being pushed down, so it's going to push into these rollers. They're fairly good roller wheels, and they're flat. And you can actually, and I have in the past used things like this for extended jobs, that are longer than my table. Okay, so as a bit of a consolation, I made this. I put the program together in ArtCam, actually, about 4 years ago. So if you're interested in seeing a video of how to set a fourth axis up, and indeed actually making this, I did 2 videos. I did one in ArtCam, and then I did the actual machining of this piece. And of course I mentioned ArtCam because ArtCam and Carveco is essentially the same program. Carveco is the new name of ArtCam. So again, all the previous videos that I've done and others, and all previous information about ArtCam actually applies to Carveco as well. Alright, so what I've decided to do, I've just decided to do it, is I will put together a fourth axis job in Carveco, but I'll be doing that from the office, because my neighbours probably be able to hear, is just started his ride-on mower up to mow his block. So it's only going to get louder as he works his way down the hill towards us. So I'll go into the office now and put together a video of how to construct a file to do this particular job in a 1-inch diameter. I'll be doing in inches. A lot of you have been asking me to do tutorials, Carveco tutorials in inches. Well, we'll do this one in inches, and indeed how to put it together. A simple job like this, and how to wrap it. And it really, I'll show you, it really doesn't make any difference at all whether it's wrapped or not. The wrapping process is really just cosmetic for us to see. Okay. Oh, I will answer just one more question as well. I think a certain gentleman was asking about the diameter of an inch piece of work. After Carveco had completed the making the toolpaths, then, or running the simulation, it came out that the diameter was much less than an inch, and I think that is because you've machined the material away, and the diameter reading, or the circumference reading of an inch diameter piece of material, it has gone much less because you've machined it away. And Carveco is giving you the minimum diameter, or the minimum distance around measurement. So yes, it's going to show a measurement much less than you would expect. For instance, an inch diameter piece of material is going to have a circumference of exactly 3.142 inches, because it's d times pi. So when you machine it away, the diameter is going to decrease, and also the distance around of the machined area is also going to be much less. So I think that's the answer that I think that's the answer that I can give to the question that was put forward. So I hope you like this little bit of a fourth axis, well, not really demonstration, but I suppose explanation. So we'll call this a Carveco Explainer, and I'll do some more explaining when I put this together in Carveco down in the office on the next video. So it's bye for now.